Hey guys, I chose to do my discussion on the Quakers and the importance of their religious tolerance in the founding of Pennsylvania. This is a subject that is near and dear to my heart because of my family. My family is all from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, from a small town called Ephrata. If you're familiar with this town, you will probably know there's a strong population of Mennonite and Amish that live there. My grandfather was raised Old Order Mennonite and was drafted in World War II. He decided to go and fight, and when he returned, he was shunned from the Mennonite Church for the belief in pacifism. He, however, stayed around the area. On my father's side, he grew up right on the outskirts of the Amish community. His parents were farmers and farmed along with the Amish. When my father was 5 years old, their barn was struck by lightning and burnt down. The Amish community, seeing the problem that this formed for my father and his family, decided to all come together to have a barn raising, which is when the community comes together and in one day they build a barn. These pictures in front of you were taken in 1960s of the family's barn raising. I tell you this because without the Quakers' belief in religious toleration, my family would not have been able to practice their denomination in peace in America. I believe God's sovereign hand was incorporated when George Fox founded the Quaker denomination in 1650. In England, persecution was extreme, so many Quakers came to America for the belief in religious freedom. However, as they found out, like Mary Dyer and three others in 1660 in Boston, there wasn't as much religious freedom as they believed in the New World. They needed some place to worship in peace, and William Penn was able to grant them that. Penn was able to receive an enormous amount of land due to King Charles II owing a debt to his father. What he did with this new land is what truly makes him stand out in a Christian and a historical standpoint. Unlike other Christian denominations, William Penn truly acted like a man of God. 1 Peter 2:15-17 states, "For this is the will of God, that by doing good you should put to silence the ignorance and foolish of people. Live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil, but living as a servant of God. Honor everyone, love the brotherhood, and fear God." William Penn and the Quakers exemplified the aspect of honoring everyone by honoring them no matter what denomination or skin color they were. In our reading for class, Knowles points out, with the founding of Pennsylvania in 1682, this colony became the most secure home for religious toleration in the world. That year was momentous for the Quakers. They now had their own land. However, they also had to set up a government for their new colony. The new frame of government for the colony of Pennsylvania was given the belief of being a holy experience, being able to worship God the way they felt called. In Theological Sources of William Penn's Concept of Religious Toleration by Kevin Thomas, he states that Thomas Jefferson said this about Penn's established government: "It was the first, either in ancient or in modern times, who has laid the foundation of government in the pure, unadulterated principle of peace, of reason, and right." Thomas Jefferson would reference back to Penn's government when trying to establish our country's government 100 years later. For the Quakers, freedom of conscience meant freedom to worship God in any way one saw fit. This in turn led to a major flux of new denominations coming to Pennsylvania. Immigrants from Germany were able to found the Ephrata community in Pennsylvania, where Amish and Mennonites became prevalent and where some of my ancestors began their new life. The Moravian community was founded in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania by Nicholas Ludwig von Zinzendorf. This Moravian church was also used for the Lutheran denomination, showing the interdenominational ability that Pennsylvania allowed. Also in 1683, Germantown was given to German Mennonites and Dutch Quakers to practice their belief. This freedom did not just extend to the Protestants, but Catholics as well. In the article 250 years ago, the beginning of St. Joseph's Church, Eugene Gallagher states that William Penn did not love Catholics, but he was Christian enough not to hate them to death. He might condemn the scandal of Mass, but he would also defend the right of the Catholic to liberty of worship. Penn's Charter of Religious Liberties in November 8, 1701, called the liberty of conscience, was the right guaranteed to all who acknowledge one Almighty God, the Creator, ruler, and upholder of the world. This liberty would lead to the building of the magnificent Catholic Church, St. Joseph's, in Philadelphia by Father Joseph Greeton. In conclusion, the Quaker denomination was significant because it established the first colony that truly allowed freedom of religion. The form of government that was established also helped our founding fathers as a frame of reference to how to govern our great nation. Thank you very much.